Thank you so much for watching. I know you love the Wednesday Night Bang Bang as much as we do here. Of course, none other than Lucy Zelich, the wonderful and amazing lady, broadcast, wonderful mum. We're just talking about how gorgeous her kids are.
Thank you.
All right, and Stephen Conroy, who equally is a wonderful dad, no question about that. Teenage daughters will always attest, but he's always here to help when it comes to the Labor Party. And because he's in Canberra, you know he's doing his best work. You know, just the ministerial halls. He remembers the passcode. He remembers the passcode to the cabinet. Oh, what are you doing in here? Well, funnily enough, a couple of things I have to mention to you. All right, so Daniel Andrews makes it all the way to Tiananmen Square. He doesn't just shake the hand and photo op, and he knows how to slow down. Wasn't the slowing down of the footage for us. He just stood there and tried to take up as much Z time as he possibly could, knowing the click, click, clicks were coming. He then ends up on a stage with a rogues gallery, like fair income. Unbelievable. Lucy, I can guess you're not going to be a fan, but Stephen and I have been waiting all day to hear what you think about this.
Can we please
and your old mate Dan.
You first. I would love to be able to piggyback. Go on then, Stephen. Tell us how much you loved it, how proud you were to see him up there with these dictators.
Look, I have an enduring image of Tiananmen Square, and that is of a student standing in front of tanks.
Yeah.
And I think it's quite sad that people forget that.
Yep.
But I can't imagine sitting there and watching armed forces goose step their way through Tiananmen Square. I think I would probably, throw up and run away as fast as I could. Mm-hmm. So I think it's disappointing that he chose to go. I think it's disappointing that he uses the excuse of the 80th anniversary. And I certainly would never have contemplated doing such a thing. I have once stood in Tiananmen Square. I went to Beijing for 36 hours, only time I've ever been there. And I deliberately went to Tiananmen Square. But the images, as I said, stuck in my mind as that student in front of the tanks. Not one I ever thought I would want to see goose-stepping down the middle of it.
Yeah, well said. I mean, Lucy, again, part of the issues here is that apart from this person being a person who we're going to put a statue up at the front of Victorian Parliament, so he's not an unnoticed Australian, right? And yes, he's in his post-political life, rah, rah, rah. But we know that the Prime Minister and him still meet. We know that he's trying to set up a business, which very obviously is all about access, and he's showing what the access is. That's what, in many ways, is going to twist people up here, that this is a very active part of the Australian community, not some has-been who we haven't heard of for a while.
I think everyone, quite honestly, is missing the point spectacularly when it comes to this issue. And I think that this has demonstrably, for me, been so alarming to see that someone who's no longer a Victorian Premier, right, so no longer even in politics, is getting an invitation of such a magnitude, right? Because it genuinely raised alarm bells to me, Paul, because I started immediately thinking, and I'll put my
services rendered.
Services rendered.
Yeah,
I'll put my tinfoil hat on and start to raise conspiracy theories. What links does this man genuinely have to China? How far and how deep do they run? And do we need to start investigating his relationship with China on the basis of potential foreign interference? And we know he's never shied away from having these types of open and brazen contacts and established relationships with the Chinese. I mean, well, again, I mean, look, I should have asked the question just 5 minutes ago, but it would be something I would love to see happen in question time, which is about, foreign registering yourself and all the rest of it here. We're talking about the optics of it and how bad it looks morally, and his compass is all over the place. But realistically, how did he and why did he get this invitation is something I'm more curious.